In this video, we'll be going over why I love the Ducati 696. Now, if you're not familiar with me, with the channel, and the bikes that I've had in the past, this is not my first Ducati, and it's actually not even my first Monster. I had a black one before this. And there's just something about these bikes that keeps drawing me in. And we'll go into all of the different reasons why I love this bike right now. So number one is the sound. Oh my gosh, this bike sounds incredible, especially with this exhaust on here right now. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we got the carbon fiber exhaust. It's super loud, it pops and backfires like crazy, and it's just an absolute blast to listen to, especially when you want that raw experience. When you're taking time just to go on a cruise, you're not listening to music, you're not listening to anything else other than the engine and the sound of that exhaust. You have to love the sound of the Ducati 696. So I'll throw in a clip right here of what it sounds like. Next up, number two is the entry price into one of these. Now, if you're familiar with the Ducati brand and the Ducati nameplate, then you know that this means it's pretty expensive. Now, the other Ducatis that I've had in the past were really expensive, but these Monsters go down in value pretty quickly. Both of them I've picked up in the threes. My old black one I picked up for just $3,000, and this one was $3,300. With lower mileage and a jacket included as well. So being able to pick these bikes up so cheap and enjoy them, yet still being a Ducati, because they're seen as the Ferrari of bikes or the Lamborghini of bikes, and they're really expensive in terms of branding, but these bikes aren't all too expensive to buy, which is the second reason why I love the 696. Number three has got to be this 696 engine. I love how it delivers power. I think it makes somewhere around 70 or 80 horsepower and revs somewhere between 8 to 10,000 RPM, meaning that within those 8 to 10,000 RPM, it has a lot of torque. So you don't have to be revving it out like crazy into the 10, 12, 15,000 RPMs to get into the power. You can have power pretty much anywhere in the rev range, which is really nice when you're cruising around. You don't have to downshift, you don't have to make it really loud when you're riding this bike, and you have power really anywhere. The 0 to 60 on this bike is also less than 3 seconds, which is pretty incredible, especially again given the price. The other thing that I really like about the power and the power delivery of this bike is that it's not overkill. Now, some bikes, like a liter bike like the 1199 that I had, you get on and you just want to rock it. You want to go way too fast, and you'll get yourself hurt because it can take you there. Now, with this bike specifically, unless you're really trying to lift that front wheel off the ground and really pushing this bike to its extreme and to its limit, you have to be trying to mess something up. Naturally, this bike isn't going to pick itself up, launch you and push you and pressure you into going 150, 170 miles an hour. This bike can't even do that. I think the top speed, I looked it up, was around 130, 135, somewhere around there, at its actual upper limit. So it's not anything crazy. Again, it has enough power and it's geared in a way that it accelerates quickly, but it's nothing absurdly dangerous. And the way in which the bike is designed, it doesn't push you and pressure you into going over the speed limit and needing to have fun on this thing in a way that's breaking any laws. It's something that's enjoyable while still remaining safe and within legal limits, even if you're not on a track and you're just riding around. The fourth reason why I love this bike, speaking more on performance, is all of the suspension and all of the brakes. You have really nice shocks, you have a great ride quality, you have Brembo brakes, factory on this bike. Now, lesser tier brands, aka non-Ducatis, aren't going to be throwing on the Brembos factory. It's not going to be the base option. And when you're buying this bike, when you're paying the premium for the Ducati brand and the Ducati vehicle itself, you are getting those premium options with the suspension, with the brakes, and with everything else on this bike. Now, the fifth and final reason why I love this bike, why I love the Monster, is how it rides. Even though it's not a sport bike and it's not meant to be taken on the track, it's still very fun to lean over and get kind of curvy with the roads. When you're taking corners, when you're riding out in the canyons and stuff like that, it still handles really, really well. Coupling that with the Brembo brakes, like we talked about in point number 4, and with all of the torque, like in point number 3, with how the engine delivers power and with how the gearing is, this is an absolute blast to ride around in the canyons and on twisty roads, especially with how it handles. It's a really comfortable riding geometry on this bike, and the naked bike styling with all of the weight reduction, not having all the gaudy panels and plastics and stuff, not only performs well, but it looks pretty cool too. So those are my top 5 reasons why I love the Ducati Monster 696. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below telling me what you thought. Hit the subscribe button. And really quick, one more thing, if you're interested in learning how to buy strategically so that you can ride for free or even profitably and get free gear as well, then hit the link down below to check out the program that I have that teaches you step by step how to ride bikes just like these and any others absolutely for free. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.